So I am now on the 2014 Honda CBR650, and I'm gonna be honest, I had a bit of extra time, so I just decided to take it out for a test ride. But I don't actually know much about the bike. What I do know is a replacement for the old CBR600. Yeah, that's about it really. This will probably be the worst CBR650 test ride ever. I'll give you my first impressions of it at least. The riding position is actually really comfortable. It's pretty upright actually. Biting point is a little far out actually, and the fueling's okay as well. I'm being a bit rough with the throttle, but it's alright. Gearbox is actually quite smooth. The mirrors are okay, they're a little small actually, but adjusted right, they seem to be alright. Pretty straightforward dash, analog rev counter, digital speedo, fuel gauge, a clock. Yeah, it's got pace. I suppose these bikes are more tuned for a bit more torque down low than just outright revving insanity. I mean, the rev counter only goes up to 11 anyway, so out of the box you only get an adjustable brake lever. The clutch lever is not adjustable, so you're going to have to get yourself an aftermarket one, I'm afraid. It's a fair amount of cushioning in the seat actually, so I'm sure that'll be nice for long journeys. The seat height is okay actually. I'm roughly about 5'6", with a 30-inch inseam. And I'd say I'm comfortably on the balls of my feet. If I'm honest, I can't really find myself saying much about this bike. It's rather ordinary. I can imagine this being a nice bike to move up to after a 125, but yeah, I can't really say it's doing much for me. If there's one pet peeve I have, is that the biting point for the clutch is just a little bit far out. No gear position indicator, which is not a must, but I do prefer one. Yeah, after spending a bit of time on this bike, it does tend to get a little buzzy around 4,000 RPM. Maybe some heavier bar ends could alleviate that perhaps, but yeah. I mean, the feet, not so much, because the foot pegs already have rubber coatings on it, but something to think about, maybe if that bothers you. Perfectly capable bike for town riding. I'd have no problems commuting on this, I don't think. Filtering seems okay on this. You know, the mirrors fold in, so that's nice. Not needed to, but you know, they can. And the mirrors aren't too far out either, so they're not too deceptive in terms of what kind of gaps you can fit through. So, you know, that's nice. Just give you a very quick walk around of the bike. I don't mind this colour scheme actually, it's quite nice. I think one of my favourite bits of the naked version was being able to see all those downpipes, and it's kind of being teased at here. but it is, you know, hidden behind that fairing, so that's a shame. But you know, what can you do? You got nice little 2 LEDs here, which are nice. But apart from that, you know, it's pretty ordinary. Not that that's a bad thing, but I like the swing arm at least. It's not too cheap and basic like those square rectangle ones. I'm not a fan of those. Yeah, as far as wind noise is concerned, the stock windscreen doesn't really do much. There's not much buffeting, but I can still feel a lot of wind being pushed past my ears. So you're probably better off with a taller windscreen if you want to take the edge off of it. Suspension's a bit firm for its setup. Maybe that can be tweaked a bit. Handles really nicely though. You'll have no worries about chucking it round a bend. I think it's nice. It's nice to give you that bit of confidence. You're moving up from a 125 to a bike like this. I think you'd be quite happy to cut your teeth on a 600, well, a 600, 650-ish kind of bike, you know, for a couple of years. There's no one behind me. Shall we try and do an emergency stop? Yeah, brakes are alright. Does come with ABS as standard, so again, I think very nice for a new rider, you know, just to have ABS. It's always a controversial topic when you talk about ABS with motorbikes. My stance on it is that ABS is nice to have for that 1% of the time where you actually need it, you know. It's not an excuse to be lousy or lazy with your braking. When you're doing that mod 2, you're tested on that, so you can't really make up any excuses for having, you know, crappy braking skills. But sometimes, you know, life throws you all kinds of situations on the road, and then the ABS is there to help you not lock up your brakes. So like I said, you don't need it 99% of the time, but for that 1% of the time, it's always nice to have. You know, after spending a little bit of time on this bike, I think there's one quality that's perhaps overlooked, is that just how easy it is to ride. I honestly feel like, you know, most people can just jump on this and be comfortable, and I've very quickly gotten comfortable on this bike. Now maybe that's a testament to the type of bikes that Honda makes, you know. Of course, would I buy one in addition to the Ninja I've got? No, I wouldn't, you know, for obvious reasons really. It just doesn't do anything for my soul. Doesn't mean it's a bad bike, it's just not the bike for me. But as a package, it is a rather nice machine. So well done, Honda. Well done.